Hey guys, I just wanted to show you the progress that these cattle have been making on this stockpiled grass here. This is stockpiled native grass. I didn't graze it at all last summer, and the year before that we cut it for hay. But this is about a 1.5 acre lot. It might be 1.5 or 1.6 acres last time I mapped it out on Google. But you could see in my other video where I first showed this cattle panel fence that I made, there was a lot of grass out here, and they're starting to get it ate down. They've been in here 11 days now. There is still a lot of stockpiled native grass out here from last year and the winter, but they're starting to eat it down now. You can see the other pasture there is green. It had been grazed off. It didn't have as much stockpile as this lot. But I'm gonna try to get 21 days out of this. Them grazing off this dormant grass is gonna help that new grass grow up through it and start to green up, and then it's gonna get a long rest period. I'm not gonna graze it again until maybe middle of summer. We'll just see how it grows. I think it'll grow good because it really hasn't had any pressure on it until just now. I do have protein out here for them. There is some green grass starting to grow up through this dormant grass. You can see some areas where they've grazed it off. Well, it's hard to see in this camera, but there is a little bit of green grass coming up. So they've been getting a little bit of that along with this dormant grass. Here, let me step out of the light, maybe you can see it a little better. And they've grazed off some of that green grass too, along with the dormant grass. There's a big cow there. She's gonna calve in June, according to the vet. I sold most of my adult cattle last fall. We had a lot of stuff going on, and my wife and I just decided to sell most of our adult cow herd. So now we're just starting over with some heifers. And we got a few steers out here too that we're gonna butcher for people. So that cow there, I would have sold her too, but when we had them preg checked, the vet said she wasn't bred. Well, I took her back in February, and sure enough, she had gotten bred. He said she was about 5 months along in the middle of February, so she should calve sometime in June. But I kind of just kept her out of default. But she is a nice cow. She always has a nice calf. She just bred back a little late. But like I said, I've got protein and mineral in here for them. They all seem to be doing really well. They're keeping their weight on this dormant grass, even though it's getting late into April and they should be on green grass right now. They seem to be eating it really well. You can see that fat steer there. He's eating on some dormant grass right now. I've kind of been training these cattle to, you know, not be too picky on the grass that they eat. Some of them other cattle that I had, they were pretty lazy. I babied them a little too much, and if they didn't have the grass in front of them that they wanted, they just wouldn't eat that other grass. I've been forcing these cattle to to survive and eat the grass in front of them. So I had them down south where they don't typically, the south end of my property doesn't quite have the same quality of grass as this up here, but I've been rotating them down there, forcing them to eat that grass and not giving them any other supplementation, and they've adapted, and so now they've started to learn to eat what they have in front of them. You can see he's nice and fat, and he hasn't had any grain grass yet. You can see the belly on him. He's gonna be a nice steer to butcher end of this year, probably in December. But if this is the first video you've seen of mine, I'm gonna share my journey along with you guys. I'm gonna change up my grazing plan of what I usually do. Usually I pretty much just let them roam the pasture. Except for last year, I did force them to eat that grass down there on the south end. But this year I'm planning on rotating them once a week into different paddocks using electric wire. I've just been using poly wire for now. I know a lot of people like to use poly rope, and I do plan on getting some poly rope in the future, but I've got quite a bit of this poly wire. Right now I'm going to use it. I think I've got enough to handle what I need it to. But if I get my grazing plan a little more advanced, I may switch to getting some poly rope, some poly braid rope, and that way I can rope off a few more paddocks a little easier than that poly braid. The poly braid is kind of, not the poly braid, but the poly wire. That poly wire is kind of a pain to have to roll it up and move it and stuff. I think the poly rope would be a lot handier, especially if I had it like a lot of people do. You can see a lot of stockpiled grass down here still. That grass is still pretty tall. So they should have quite a bit more to eat in here. My neighbor there across the fence, he burned his pasture. I didn't burn mine. I used to burn my pasture, but I'm not gonna be burning it anymore. Not when these cows can take advantage of this stockpiled grass. I'm gonna get an extra 3 weeks, I hope, out of this lot here that I would not have got if I had burned it off. I've got one little calf in here right now. He's out of a first calf heifer. He's doing well. This is his mama right here. She's not real big. She was actually out of a first calf heifer herself. But she does have a nice little bull calf there. And he's doing well. One thing I'm trying to do is decrease the size of my cattle, which my other cattle weren't huge by any means. You know, they weren't 1,500 pound cattle like some of these people have. But, you know, I only have a small acreage. We only have 40 acres here. And so, you know, whether I had 40 acres or 160 or 320 acres, I would still try to decrease the size of my cattle. I'm shooting for around about 1,000 pound cow. They're just more efficient in my opinion, and they can survive on less. And you know, I've had some smaller cattle, and along with the bigger cows that I had. And those smaller cows, for the most part, their calves grew to about the same size as the bigger cows. So there's no point in me feeding a 12 or 1,300 pound cow. I know that's still not a huge cow, but there's no point in me feeding a 1,300 pound cow when I can raise a 1,000 pound cow and get the same size of calf out of those cows. And they're going to keep their weight on better. They're going to eat less grass, and they're going to take the winter better than those bigger cows. And I won't have to feed as much hay. There's another little steer there. He's got a belly on him too. These cows ought to take, these cattle ought to take off when they get on that green grass. Compared to eating this dormant grass, they've already got fat bellies on them just from eating this dormant grass. They ought to really take off. They ought to gain a lot of weight this year on this native grass. There's another steer there. This little heifer here, she was born a little bit late too, actually. She was born last May. She's actually out of this big cow here, but I had a smaller bull. I had a smaller bull in with my cows, and he kind of created these shorter, stockier heifers, which I really like. She's about the perfect sized heifer. That's about what I'm looking for. Even though her mama is kind of a little long-legged, she's a little shorter and compact, got a big belly on her. I just let her stay on her mama all winter, and they didn't have any grain or no feed or cubes or anything over the winter.